Hi, my name is Dawn Boyer and I'm going to review Color My Sketchbook number 3 by Bennett Klein. This is the first book of 4 that he has out on the market, and I believe they are all printed by CreateSpace, but I want to page through the pictures and explain what's in them and what's so wonderful about them. Bennett Klein started posting some of his sketches on Facebook about 2014. I discovered him in summer of 2015 and was just, as an artist, really attracted at his imagination that he was using when he was putting his sketches together. Colorists started grabbing his pictures off the internet, coloring them and posting them, which gave him the idea of taking his sketches and making them into coloring books. The first and second books have been reviewed on another video, so this is the third book. He does have a list of contents for the images. He does not have the little postage size images in the front, but if you are going on Amazon and wanted to see some of the images, you might be able to do the sneak a peek between the covers to see some of them. But if you're watching this, then you won't necessarily have to go there. You can just look at the images here. He does give some acknowledgement to some other artists that are out there that have given him some inspiration. I recognize Franzetta as one of the fantastic science fiction artists who are out there that created a lot of the Tarzan and Conan the Barbarian and dragon pictures with the very robust looking women. So I can certainly appreciate his appreciation of those artists. Here's the first page with a gorgeous morph between an animal face and a human face. African American features on top of a leopard with some almost tribal shield imagery in the back, with perhaps arrows coming from there and feathers. Bennett Klein loves feathers, and he adds those a lot in his drawings. Here it looks like ropes or perhaps dreads from the African American character. Horns, skull, more leopards. So very, very well done picture. Here's a griffin peacock snake. So he loves combining various creatures together to make his imaginative pictures. Here's a fairy on top of a crow with her wings. This is very simplistic, and although simplistic, also complicated design. There's a lot of shading in here, so those who are beginning colorists can just apply their colors and the shades are already there. The paper in the book is the CreateSpace and a little bit thin, so if you do use wet media on these pages, please put some pages in between to blot to keep the images on behind them from getting marred up. Here's some octopus tentacles. It almost is reminiscent of a clock. There are clock numerals here and other little designs, so that's interesting. The thing I love about Bennett Klein's pictures are that you could pop them out of the book and frame them, and they would be gorgeous as a black and white image, or if you colored them later and added hues from any type of media. So here's like a couple that are posing for their family picture, it looks like. She's got this fancy hat. He's got his stylized horns. He's got his little pocket watch in his pocket, and beautiful Victorian dress on the woman. Here's a tiger. Bennett loves to add tigers in. That was my kitty cat, sorry. Loves to add tigers in his pictures. Here's some jungle floral and leaves. Here's a fox looking at the bee on his nose, wondering, am I going to get stung? Or do I need to have a conversation with this bug? Loaded with roses and rose petals and other flowers in the background. Here's a dragon with almost a Tyrannosaurus Rex body with dragon wings. It's almost an iguana face here, next to I want to call her an angel because her wings are so large and uplifted versus reminiscent of the butterfly wings for most fairies that Bennett Klein draws. Here's statuary and holding the swords. Here's a gargoyle demon on top of a skull with snakes going through, and another little demon here at the bottom wearing a crown. So this looks like a mirror image photograph, so he may have drawn one side and then flipped it in the computer and mirror imaged and stitched it together. Very well done. This image sort of is reminiscent from the Pirates of the Caribbean and the critter that was in that particular movie. Here is almost a medieval costume with the ruffled feathers around the collar, and on top of the mystical creature is a whole bush of roses and peonies and other flowers. Bennett Klein's drawings, from my understanding, are created with black ballpoint pens. So it's amazing that these images are literally drawn with just a simple $1 pen from the local dime store. More feathers, some Celtic knot images. This looks like a wolf with some very iconic images and shapes in his ears. So gorgeous oval image here. Bennett sort of has a little bit of a whimsical sense of humor, and in this particular book, a lot of his pictures, when you first look at them, sort of make you smile or grin. It looks here like the fairy was trying to help the iguana do something with his mouth or his teeth, and he accidentally shut his mouth on her. So she's either getting eaten or he's just swallowing between the inspection. Here's an owl, very gorgeously portrayed. Look at the talons and the feet. It makes you feel that there's some substance there. A lot of fleur-de-lis and some border designs, and this stunning, almost a Zentangled type of emblem in the middle. This one I would probably say may be another one of the mirror images that were flipped and mirrored and stitched together. Here is, it almost seems like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 masks that you might find at a Chinese festival of the New Year of some type. They all seem to be of imaginary dragon-like faces. This one Bennett, I think, was stressing over a little bit because he wasn't sure if this colonial era costumed woman and the mouse and the fairy wings all went together, but I think it worked out quite wonderfully. It ended up where the fairy was holding on to the hair of the mouse, sort of like a rider to the little mouse. So I think the colorists unanimously decided they liked it. Here's a lion head. Lots of stylistic ray design and fleur-de-lis and all kinds of beautiful decorative elements in the picture. Here is a dragon head. It looks like there's something dripping off of him, wax or his skin. He's melting. And the little mouse with his sword, oh, I know what it is. It's apparently blood from the dragon head that the mouse slayed with his little sword, and he's carrying the dragon head towards home or towards whoever wanted it. Here is a ballerina who has got some beautiful angel wings behind her, and she is being accompanied by 2 penguins in tuxedos who are mimicking her dance moves. And here's a young lady who is doing a pinup pose, and it seems she's taking a bubble bath in a bed of roses. Chinese dragon imagery again. It's almost like three different styles of dragon imageries. This looks like the Chinese model. This looks more like the European model of dragon head. And then there seems to be like a little demon here in the middle. And this was a fun image, very whimsical. A stork, the dapper gentleman in the three-piece suit and tie with a little pin on his cravat. And then all the branches coming out of the neck to portray which kind of hats. And so I guess he's got a hat tree going on. This is one of the few images that is on a horizontal plane. And you can see the owl and the gorgeous stylistic lines here. And the skull of another owl above him, roses, and the beautiful petals coming out from the sides. And here we have an eagle with deer horns that have the mountain goats climbing on the deer horns, a stylistic sun in the background, and the alpine scenery in the back. And here's a woman with a bouquet of flowers for her head, and it seems like she's consoling this little bee who seems not to be very happy. Maybe he ran out of pollen and she's comforting him and trying to tell him where the best flowers can be. And this is one of the coolest skulls that Bennett Klein has created. He's morphed dragons and the dragon scales into the image of the skull, and look at the details for these individual scales, and then the octopus tentacles coming out from the mouth down into the collar of the garment that the skull is wearing, and again the very beautiful stylized frames on the corners. And that is his book. He always has a thank you in the back of the book to thank his fans. And so what I would like to do is highly recommend the book for you to purchase to color. And if you're not even like to color at all, the pictures in his book are just absolutely stunning. And I would advise you, they're inexpensive enough to purchase. And if you would like to see more coloring book or art book reviews or product reviews, join me on Facebook at Artist Eye Reviews. Just look for the eyeball with the rainbow in the middle and you'll find me and all my other reviews. Again, this is Dawn Boyer.